Back here on CBS Sports HQ, where Week 10 of the NFL season comes to a close tonight on Monday Night Football as the Miami Dolphins, who are desperate for a win, take on the Los Angeles Rams, who are peaking at the right time, winning their last 3 games. Tonight, we will see 2 teams who are trending in opposite directions. Unfortunately for Miami, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa could be without a key player on their offense and wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Let's talk more about it as we welcome you back into CBS Sports HQ, our set here. Let's begin, you guys, with both of these teams who are headed in opposite directions on the season. Right now, Miami has lost 3 straight games. Rams have won 3 straight games. But this could be a little bit of a make or break moment for both teams. How do you see this playing out, Kyle?
I just think it's been this has been the case with the injury bug with the Dolphins all year long. They've lost 2 pass rushers, really key guys to their defense, and you look on the offensive side, no consistency there with Tua. You get them back for 2 weeks, they score points, but they can't stop a nosebleed on defense. The Rams have gotten healthy, and they've been looking like the Rams. So in my opinion, this one isn't as close as it's made out to be on paper, because I think this Rams defense is coming along. Matt Stafford looks like Matt Stafford right now.
And the difference I see when you look at both organizations is just the coaching. Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the National Football League. His ability to do more with less. He continues to show us that, because he was missing his top 2 pass catchers. Think about some of the young players they've drafted into the organization, and instantly they're seeing the benefits of those investments. Oh, by the way, doing so without Aaron Donald, because we've kind of forgotten about Aaron Donald not being in this lineup, because their defense has been more than a serviceable group. So that's a plus. So when you look at tonight's matchup, I'm not going against Sean McVay. Sean McVay can coach football. He was born to do one thing, coach ball. That's it. He's mastered that, and he's gotten the most out of the guys. And to your point, this is a scary time for teams that are playing against the Rams, because now they're getting healthier. They already had confidence playing with backups. Just imagine what the confidence level is now, knowing we got our soldiers back in the lineup.
And also this, I remember when I first started playing football, my old man told me, it's not for everybody, but it's definitely for you. When I think about the Rams, they've got a bunch of guys in that building who football is for. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, all these guys, they show up with a passion unmatched around the National Football League, and you can see it every time they're on the field together.
Why did he say it was definitely for you?
I think I had a couple.
How big were you when you were born?
Wild hairs, I guess.
You probably were a big baby.
I was a big boy. I was a big boy.
Like 9 pounds, 10 pounds?
I was like 6'6", 280 my senior year in high school.
Okay, so you were.
They were like, get off the mound and get at left tackle.
So, long story short, Kyle couldn't have an office job. You had to put some cleats on.
That's
a
right.
helmet.
That's right.
But that's a football program in Los Angeles. Sean McVay's done a spectacular job with those guys.
As you mentioned, though, the Dolphins, I mean, they've been bit by the injury bug all season long. They get Tua back. Now Tyreek Hill, obviously one of their biggest weapons on offense. Game time decision tonight. B-Mac, how does this offense change when you don't have Tyreek Hill in there?
Well, you still have to be creative, right? And that's the thing you like with Tua in this system, and why he is so important for the Dolphins offensively, because he understands the rhythm, the timing, the misdirection. It wasn't like this is a team that can do things the old school way and come straight down the teeth of your defense. They got to try to trick you, right? Motions, misdirections, having guys go one way and then changing it. Now, when you don't have your stars in the lineup, it's hard for backups to give you the same execution when you talk about so many moving pieces moving around. But I'll tell you this much. Even when Tyreek has been in the lineup, they haven't found ways to get him involved. That's why they struggle even without Tua Tagovailoa, because Tyreek Hill, he's like the Justin Jeffersons of the NFL. He's like the Jamar Chases of the NFL. Just get them targets, because if you do that, they're going to give you numbers. Think about this. When you look at Tyreek Hill, without Tua Tagovailoa or with him, he's only had 1 receiving touchdowns. How is that? 1 touchdown on the year, and that was week 1. So that's up to the coaching. Mike McDaniel, we praise you with your creativity. You have to find a way to get number 10 his looks, because if you do not, you will continue to struggle, and hopefully he's able to go tonight, because to your point, he's questionable. But if you don't have him, you still have to be creative. You cannot be a lame duck against this defense.
Tyreek Hill makes the job of the offensive line that much easier because, you know, he's going to give the quarterback a good look, an advantageous look to get rid of the football, a lot of yards after the catch with Tyreek Hill. But if we limit those opportunities, we get to Tyreek, we got to hold up in protection. Tua's sitting back there, a guy who's had his bell rung a couple times. That doesn't play well. And this Rams front, they've been getting after quarterbacks. Doesn't spell anything good for the Dolphins.
And with the Miami, they do the defensive players a service and not getting Tyreek Hill his targets. Because I'm like, okay, if you don't want to target him the football, that's what we want.
Yeah.
He has something that no one has when they're playing against Miami. Speed. He is always the fastest, the quickest on the football field. So if you're not getting him targets, you're actually helping out the defense that you're playing against.
Yeah, need Hill back, need to get him involved if he is back, and if he's not, somebody else to step up, because the Rams, they are fully loaded with their big four, Stafford, Williams, Kupp, and Nakua. When all these guys are playing, they have been 8-3 in the past 2 seasons, Kyle.
Yeah, but I also think it's, you know, it's obvious that when they've got their stars on offense that the team looks a certain way. But I want to talk about the defense of the Rams is really what it's about, because EPA per play, second to last or last in the league.
Not good.
Before week 5, I believe it was. Since then, second best in the National Football League. So it's that marriage of offense and defense. This team feeds off of one another. That's why I talk about those guys are in the building at 6 a.m. breaking down film. They love this stuff, and it shows up on film every week.
And for me, let's talk about the outstanding football players for the Rams.
Yeah.
Right?
Got a
Puka
few.
Nakua and Cooper Kupp. They happen to play wide receiver, but they're actually just football players that play the wide receiver position, because they do it all. They catch, they run, they block, they give you everything, and they fit the identity for their team. So when you have those 2 guys in your lineup, number 9 is already a living legend. He's already that guy, but he becomes the guy when you have Puka and Cooper fill my cup in the lineup. So when talking about what they can do, I mean, that offense is almost unstoppable. And then, of course, I can throw in Kyron Williams as well, who's been a big-time productive player as well. So they got so many things going on with their offense, man. This is the wrong time to play against the Rams, because they're getting healthy and they're feeling really good about their chances.
Yo, but they're kind of on a razor's edge there with that group. You talked about all the things that receiving core does and the things that Sean McVay demands from his receivers. That puts a really, really, really hard job for those receivers week in, week out physically. So when they're healthy, they're great, but you could see these guys get banged up with the amount of volume they ask them to do.
You mentioned Kyron Williams. Nice segue into our players to watch tonight. Kyle, he's a guy that you like on this.
Yeah, he's a friggin' bloodhound. Every time he gets the ball, he's got a nose for the first down marker. He's got a nose for the end zone. And I think with the way this offense is going to look coming out against this Miami defense, who is reeling, who doesn't have the pass rushers, you're going to see a heavy dose of Kyron Williams in the second half of this football game. Put these guys to bed.
B-Mac, you're also going with a guy there.
Yeah, Jared Verse. He's the epitome of moving another grown man against his will. The bull rush that he has is unbelievable. The brute strength that he has as a rookie. I mean, there's not a battle, Kyle, that he does not like.
He reminds me of Khalil Mack.
Yes. Strong. He talks the talk. He talks trash. I mean, he's been great getting into the backfield. And the thing I love about Jared, of course, we always emphasize sacks. How many sacks is a guy getting? But get this, he has 39 pressures. 39 pressures. That's top 10 in the National Football League. Pressures are just as important as sacks, because now you're forcing the quarterback to throw the football when he's not ready to. So they better protect Tua like he's a newborn baby. Because if they do not, Jared, you talked about that bloodhound smelling the ball. He can smell that sack, man, getting closer and closer. So this is an intriguing matchup for the front in trying to protect Tua Tagovailoa.
We had some Steelers bias a little earlier. I had a little bit of a problem with it this time around.
Okay with that one?
Some Knowles bias. I have no issue with it.
We need any Bryce.
Let's go. We need it.
All right, so let's get a game pick for tonight quickly. Rams favorite at home in this spot. Who do you like, B-Mac?
I'm taking the Rams. When you look at the Rams, they're 5-2 ATS in the last 7 as the favorite. And for Miami, they have struggled. They're 1-7 ATS in the last 8 ball games as an underdog.
Doesn't have to be that complicated. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, we kind of knew that from the second you guys opened your mouth on this segment, so we'll take it. All right, much more to come here on CBS Sports HQ. You can catch more from Kyle on the Pushing the Pile podcast. Scan that QR code on your screen and listen and watch now. Mike Renner also on. You don't want to miss it.